Welcome to another video. This video is just like a reminder video. I don't think these things are not something you haven't heard already. If it is, then good anyway. But I just wanted to make a reminder because it's something I've been going through personally in my life, and it's something I've had to remind myself of lately. And it started when I was watching this video on YouTube. There's this viral video of this guy, this teacher, I believe he's an older teacher. He was trying to show a young girl what the values meant. And I think she was standing on a chair or table or something. And he asked her, pull me up. And it was very hard for her to pull him up. She couldn't even do it. But then he said, watch this. And he pulled her down with ease. And he was telling her, it's so much easier to get pulled down than to get pulled up. So he was just basically teaching a lesson about the company she's keeping, of how it's so much easier to go down than up. That's just how the universe is. Whether you're driving, whether you're going up a hill physically with walking, it'll always be easier to go up to go down the hill and up the hill. And similarly, it's always going to be easier to do the wrong thing than to do the right thing. It'll be always be more pleasurable to do what is instant. It'll always be more pleasurable to chase instant gratification than to think about delayed gratification and long-term success. It's always go it when hanging around friends, it's always going to be easier to be influenced by the negative than the positive. Sometimes when you're standing up for what's right, you're going to have to stand by yourself. If you stand up for what's wrong, you will have company. But when you stand up for what's right, what you really believe in, and what people need to hear, they're going to you're often going to be alone. You know, when I study history, I notice a certain trend is that it's funny how brutally people were killed who were just trying to tell people the truth. You know, it's very interesting. Like a lot of people who are just telling the truth, like things that we know as fact today, like the scientific discoveries we've made, the even the way we live, the like the what how do I say this, like the values by which we live by, the people who just brought those values of love, peace, community togetherness, and the scientists who was trying to show people how to, improve life and everything. It's funny how a lot of them were ostracized, a lot of them were killed, a lot of them were brutalized for just telling the truth. And even in this time we live in, where I know we think we're living in a much more understanding time, but people are the same. If you notice nowadays, real people, or people who keep it a buck, and people who keep it straight to the point, they get treated the worst. And it's only in a couple of years will people really understand what they were trying to say in the first place. But yeah, this is just a reminder video. It's always going to be harder to be a bigger person. It's always going to be harder to do what's right, and to, in spite of, in spite of people not reciprocating the energy. It's like it's going to get tiring sometimes doing the right thing, but it's still necessary. Don't ever dim your light. Don't ever stop being who you are. I think I've said this in some videos before, but like one of the greatest things I learned from studying Marcus Aurelius, who was like a emperor of Rome, one of the best emperors of Rome. One of the things I learned from his life is that anything outside of you should not control you. Other people's philosophies, other people's ways of living, even though they don't believe in certain things, it shouldn't affect you. If you have morals, if you know what's right, if you want to do what's right, these things should not affect you and keep you down in any way. You know, and finally in this video, I just want to say, watch who you hang around. It's like, if you hang around people who don't have a dream, I'm saying they don't want to go nowhere, they're very stagnant in their life, it's so easy to become just like them. Because the problem is, the moment you start growing, the moment you start going forward, in a way, they'll feel like you're showing them up. And you don't need that energy when you're trying to grow. You know, when you're trying to grow, you need people who are going to push you, who are going to encourage you, who are going to make you feel good about growing. You know, you don't need people around you who's going to make you feel bad about growing. So, just reminding, if anybody needed this encouragement to just keep going, and then just the reality of it, man. Like, it's the universe we live in. If you want the best, you gotta go through the trial. You gotta go through the fire sometimes. But just keep going, and always remind yourself why you're doing it for, and always be walking towards something. And once you try to find some calmness in the fact that you are trying your best. You're not hurting nobody, you're not stealing from nobody. If you try to find some calmness, that you're doing it right, and make that be your satisfaction, as that you're doing it right. So just think about this stuff and keep going.